Hello, my name is Amber Rose. I'm a model and entrepreneur. Thank you. But most importantly, I'm a mother. My whole world revolves around providing for my children, keeping them safe, and giving them an opportunity for a better life. That's something that unites all American parents, whether we're Republicans, Democrats, conservatives, or liberals. We all want a better country for our children. But I'm here tonight to tell you, no matter your political background, that the best chance we have to give our babies a better life is to elect Donald Trump president of the United States. Now, you may be wondering why I'm up here telling you this. I'm no politician and I don't want to be, but I do care about the truth. And the truth is that the media has lied to us about Donald Trump. I know this because for a long time I believed those lies. So I'm here to set the record straight. The first person I knew who supported Donald Trump was my father. I was shocked. My entire family is racially diverse. And I believed the left wing propaganda that Donald Trump was a racist. My father said, "No, he's not, Amber. What are you talking about?" And when I insisted, he said, "Prove it." So to prove my father wrong, I did my research and looked into all things Donald Trump. People have to do their research. I watched all the rallies, and I started meeting so many of you, his red hat wearing supporters. I realized Donald Trump and his supporters don't care if you're black, white, gay, or straight. It's all love. And that's when it hit me. These are my people. This is where I belong. So I let go of my fear of judgment, of being misunderstood, of getting attacked by the left, and I put the red hat on too. Me too. I never felt more free and more love for my country than I do now. I want to thank my father, who's in the audience tonight, for opening my eyes. He served over 20 years in the U.S. military. Thank you for your service. Love you, Dad. I love you.
My first memory of ever seeing Amber Rose was at that award show with Kanye West, and she was a knockout at that time, with the platinum bold head, amazing body, and beautiful face. Not sure if this is a publicity stunt or if she really is genuine in her endorsement of Trump, but I wanted to call attention to the irony of her endorsement and the current political climate and how this current climate is bringing out all of these paradoxes that we are witnessing because of this upcoming election, and many Black women being done with the Democratic Party. After Kamala Harris finished her workout and said, "We did it, Joe," that was the last time that we saw Kamala Harris. That was the last time that we saw anything in regards to the Democratic Party and anything that we should celebrate. For the past 4 years, we can say that the Democratic Party has been a charity ceremony, with the Democratic Party being the main contributor to the world's problems. Right? We can say that. Some people are saying that. This is both good and bad. On one hand, we have Biden and his administration, which allowed countless immigrants into the country so that they can get a better life. Some would say that's a good thing. Some would say that's bad. We also have Biden, who offered the citizens of Ukraine a safe haven during their most difficult times. He also passed numerous bills for banning discrimination and making life more inclusive for members of the trans community and other things that we saw him do. Still, others would say that he is not a good president and that he funded the Israeli government and their elimination of the Palestinian people in the Gaza Strip. In any case, people are both pissed and thrilled with the Biden administration, and others are over it. People are over it. I've seen so many Black people claim that they are over the Democratic Party, right? They've been Democrats their entire life, and now, for the first time in history, they're saying that they're over what's happening with the Democratic Party and they want a change. From what I am hearing, people are so pissed with Biden and how he looked at that last presidential debate that they may very well turn New York City red. So, in the streets of New York City, for the first time in my lifetime, I am now seeing people of color, Black and brown people, young people, for the first time in history, claim that they are no longer Democrats because of what's happening in New York City. I don't know if it has to do with immigration or if it has to do with violence or if it has to do with people just not happy with the administration. But for the most part, I see young people all claiming that they're going to turn New York City red. And that's a big thing. That is huge, right? And after all, I always say this, I kind of make this a joke. Donald Trump and I were born in the same city at the same damn hospital. If New York City turned red, at this point, no one won't give a shit. They're building a homeless shelter in Bensonhurst on 25th Avenue on 86th Street. And every one of those protesters, mostly immigrants, were waving the American flag and screaming Trump 2024. They don't want a homeless shelter. They don't want a homeless shelter in that area. It's very close to a public school, and it's also close to, I think, two parks in that area, and they just don't want it there. Nonetheless, the American people are pissed, and Amber Rose, funny enough, she verbalized that. Not sure why she decided to publicly endorse Trump, considering that she has, in the past, advocated for the sexual lives of women to be embraced on a public scale, while Trump poses himself off as an all-American dad with good Christian values. It's so ironic and topsy-turvy. So does her endorsement mean that she is turning a new leaf in regards to her previous beliefs? Not really sure about that either. What I am sure of, though, is that her behavior in the past may be seen by some as contradictory. She even prided herself as a slut and even held marches calling on others self-proclaimed sluts. Let me read that again. She prided herself as a slut and even held marches calling on other self-proclaimed sluts to join her in that march and in that public display. She then married, from what I believe, and had children, but was then seen to go after the sluts who was at the time trying to sleep with her husband. This is years ago, when she was married. I think it was to not Waka Flocka, but Wiz Khalifa. I think it was Wiz Khalifa. I'm not sure. I have to look it up. You guys can correct me in the comment section. What can be said here then in regards to this? What can be said, right? How can the so-called self-proclaimed proud slut then become a happy housewife? Well, unhappy housewife, preoccupied with her husband sleeping with the same sluts that she claimed she was before she got married. It's all weird. Are we all sluts until we settle down, or do we publicly claim that being a slut is cool as long as it means that one person is getting famous for that display? I have always had an issue with that and her beliefs surrounding sex. She claims and have claimed in the past that sex work is work and girls love being sluts. That was the narrative for Miss Rose. That was the narrative all over the place. And when in actuality, many women use sex to gain attention that they would not have gotten if they were not pushing that message to young women and to young men. It was an incredible message that separated women from the realities of sex and encouraged that more young girls participate in sexual activity and not care about the outcome. It's the whole, sort of dating app culture where men kind of convinced women, oh, sleep with us on the first date. It doesn't mean anything. Yeah, it doesn't mean anything to him, but you're the one left with the responsibility. She may have given out condoms during her marches, but the message already stood as sex means nothing. Have more of it and get like me. Because she was making a lot of money with her slut walk. She was making a lot of money with endorsement deals and with all of these things. And young women saw how much money she was making because she simply went around and said, hey, I'm a proud slut. Get like me. Do what I do. Lay on your back, rise to the top of fame. And a lot of women took that message. I'm not sure if women are still holding on to that message because they've seen the outcome of how Amber Rose's life played out. Maybe young girls are on a different semi 4B tip now. Not really sure about that. But I also wrote this is problematic because we know that her popularity came because of this message. Her message surrounding young women and sex was embraced by men. They loved it, they encouraged her, and she was awarded with that attention. Fast forward to her life as a married woman, and all of that changed right in front of our eyes, right? She became a married woman and wanted for everyone to recognize her attempts at building a stable family unit. But can you build a stable family unit with a man who already had your viewpoints on sex before that marriage? Like, this man already knew how you thought about sex. So when women claim that sex means nothing and men claim that sex means nothing, men have memories. They remember what you were like yesterday. So when you do marry the man who already knew how you felt about sex yesterday, he is going to bring that previous knowledge into your current situation. So if he decides to entertain sluts, because you said that sluts were okay. This is probably how you got him to marry you. Bisexual, overly sexual, anything is up for grabs. But then you wanted to settle down because you had a child in the picture. You had a child to raise. And we all respect that and we all understand it. But this is what happens when we put sex ahead of what we actually want. And we use sex as a barometer to get the attention, to get the gaze from the male. You will get the gaze from the male. You will get the interaction from the male, but he will still remember you as the girl who said that sex means nothing. You are down for whatever. And that's just how it's going to be. Remember the woman I told you about who got her husband because she told him that she was bisexual, and he married her in a heartbeat thinking, I'm going to cash out on her bisexuality later. And so when this woman decided that, well, we have children to raise and a household to run, me being bisexual is off the table right now. The husband wanted to leave the marriage and open the marriage up so that he can, I guess, have fun in that marriage. Boom, fast forward, the wife is not actually bisexual. They open up the marriage and the wife starts sleeping with other men. The husband is pissed. He wants to close the marriage now, and the wife is saying no. So back to the original question. I said, but can you build a stable family unit with a man who already had your viewpoints on sex before that marriage? My guess would be that he did know of your thoughts surrounding sex and believed that it meant nothing, like Amber did, right? Hence the slut walk. Remember that slut walk where she just encouraged women to kind of come out with being sluts and being proud to have sex on men on the first date? And she even had the commercial, that walk of shame commercial, where she was kind of, skipping down the street with her, panties in her hands and her stilettos in another hand. Like, hey, it's normal to kind of sleep with guys that you don't know. That was the message from Amber Rose, right? And I wrote that he took her previous behavior and brought that knowledge into their marriage. And from what went public, he was not faithful. Now, this video isn't a I told you so video, but one to call attention to the influence that some of these ladies have over the minds of young women. So yesterday, she was a proud slut. And today, she is a proud mom, frustrated American, and new Trump supporter. It's all topsy-turvy. The fact that Trump is even allowed to run again is a whole other issue. But this stunt solidifies what I'd say in regards to the circus that we are all forced to bear witness to. The reason why so many people are confused is because that is the design. What is down is up, and what is up is down, and it is designed this way to make you, the viewer, second guess everything that you were originally taught. 4B is clarity, and that you are not engaging. You are not engaging, so you can't get caught up in bullshit. It's not like the other liberal feminist thought patterns that scream you should continue to date, sleep, and marry and have children with men, all to complain about those things after you do them. The goal is always to survive and to have freedom in that survival. The goal is to become a free agent and to stay a free agent. While Rose may have met well, the climate is still confusion. And this is the issue. Set aside what they say about her race. We should not come to the conclusion that because you are of color, you should align yourself with the Democratic Party. It should also be said that Rose endorsing Trump sets the same measure of confusion as well as exhaustion. Everyone is exhausted with the political climate right now. And there's so many people who are expressing political homelessness. They don't know how to vote. On one hand, they love the Democratic Party, but they don't think that Biden is fit to last another 4 years. I even heard on Twitter they were calling Biden being abused, like this was elderly abuse, having him continue with the presidency. I mean, that was really funny because I can just imagine them like dressing him up every day and ushering him out to podiums to speak and making him sit down and eat his applesauce behind the scenes. It was just really funny when they kind of said, this is elder abuse. I don't know if it's elder abuse, but nonetheless, people are exhausted. They're frustrated with the contradictions. They're frustrated with the fact that the claim is that they live in the greatest country in the world, but people can't even make ends meet. They can't even put food on the table, right? And this is what Amber Rose expressed. And this is why I think it was so popular, because she kind of said what everyone is thinking, that we can't make ends meet as Americans. We can't pay the bills. We are having issues paying mortgages. This is a problem, but yet there's enough money in the budget to kind of fund a whole Israeli-Palestinian conflict war. It's the contradictions for me, right? So I wrote here, people are exhausted with woke liberals, as we all are. We're exhausted with the pronouns. We're exhausted with the constant crybaby Gen Z bullshit. Affirm me, use my proper pronouns, or you're a bigot, or I'm going to dox you. I'm going to cancel you because you didn't call me she, her, him, it, they, them. People are exhausted with it all, right? And I think they're exhausted with it because it's been perpetuated so much and people's arms are twisted behind their back. So they are exhausted with not being able to make ends meet. I said that already, despite living in the so-called greatest country in the world. This is what it is, and that's it. People are exhausted with the contradictions of a patriarchal society. We're all forced to live under this bullshit. And Rose endorsing Trump may seem fresh and forward and new, but it sets the same tone of exhaustion and this betrayal of sorts from people who encourage us to think one way, but behave the total opposite. So yeah, Donald Trump is the guy who may be president in November, but is he the candidate to kind of represent Christian morals? Like, let's be serious. It's Donald Trump. Like, he has a record, he has a pattern of behavior in his past. I don't know what he's doing now, right? I don't know if he's out there as an old man grabbing pussies everywhere he goes, but we had that behavioral pattern. So I guess this is to say everyone can change, but not really. People will kind of change to get what they want from the public and want what they want for the public to do. I don't know if this stunt by Amber was for her to get back into the spotlight or if she really believes that Trump will be the next best thing in regards to the presidential debate. I don't know. It's all contradictory. It's all full of irony. It's all topsy-turvy, like I said before. And all of this is why so many people are so exhausted at this point. And I think people just want a change. I think for the most part, Americans want to get back to work. Americans want to get back to some sort of normalcy. I think Americans want to be able to pay their mortgage while working one job and not six? I don't really know. I'm not really sure. And there's nothing wrong with people going out there and making money and doing what they have to do to survive. But we should also be able to do this with not having to look at the country that you live in wasting money on situations that have nothing to do with them. A lot of people don't believe that the United States should have been involved with the Palestinian-Israeli conflict and wasted all of that money. But again, that's just some people. It all depends. I don't know how you guys are going to vote. I know a lot of people that I'm speaking to, die-hard Democrats, die-hard blue. This is New York City. Everyone is blue. But because of what's been happening, I just think that they may turn New York City red, but I'm not sure. I'm just guessing at this point because I see so many people talk that way on Twitter, different political blogs, different articles that are coming out, especially after that presidential debate and Biden just not looking well, just not looking equipped. And the other day, he was in another press conference thing and he called Donald Trump his vice president. And I think it was an accident, but it's kind of like the pause between him correcting that mistake was just too long for me. It was just too long. It was too long. He actually said it, walked away from the podium, and then kind of turned and said, "Oh, no, 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 no." He also called the president of Ukraine Putin. Like, it's just too much at this point. And people are seeing these things. And when people see these things, they have to be able to kind of say, it's time for a change and it's okay for that change. So what do you think about Amber Rose and her endorsing Trump? What do you think about her previous slut walks? You could leave a comment. Let me know what you think. But I think it's a good stunt. But then I also think it's a weird stunt because this is the girl who kind of put it out there that, lay on your back, get famous, and that's the only way to do it. I think it's problematic for her to endorse Trump considering his sexual history and his past with women. But we'll see how it all goes in the future. We just have to see. We just have to wait and see.